Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is another Zoran Mamdani failure. Oh, I know, it's not really a surprise here. And what we have here is that Zoran Mamdani has responded to the shooting in New York City, Queens, or Queens, New York. And he's pretty much saying that he wants social workers to take precedent here, not to have cops, and he decided to meet the individual that was shot and won't prosecute the guy that was stabbing it, that was going to stab the said cop, which. It's no really surprise here on how bad New York City is coming down to self decay. It's only been a month, and this is what's been going on. But this is what socialism gets you when you vote for this type of stuff. So, without further ado, let's get directly into this.
Released body camera footage of a shooting by officers responding to a call in Queens. Mayor Zoran Mamdani has been calling for new ways to handle these calls of people suffering from mental health episodes. Eyewitness News reporter Phil Tate is live for us at police headquarters in Lower Manhattan with more on this story. Phil.
Yeah, Pedro, Shirley, good morning. And yesterday, the NYPD had released that body cam video giving us a better insight as to what happened last week. Police had called for help for their 22-year-old son who was in emotional distress, but somehow this ended up with a police-involved shooting happening inside of their home. Let's pop up that video for you. We can see the body-worn camera video on your screen when officers arrived at the Queens home. Shortly after, it appears the 22-year-old Jabez Chakraborty with a knife as a family member tries to stop him from moving toward the officer who is heard there, firing his gun after giving him multiple commands to drop the weapon. The family in a statement says, "We called 911 for an ambulance to provide medical attention for our son who was in emotional distress. We did not call the police. Instead of medical responders, the NYPD arrived and shot our son multiple times right in front of us." Yesterday,
This is so dumb, dude. This is so dumb. Okay, we did not call the police. Okay, when you call 911, this is what you expect to get when you're having a type of episode like this. And you're going to end up finding out very quickly that Normandani wants to have social workers, and these socialists, these leftists, just do not understand on how the real world works. Even if you did have like uh a nurse or a EMT or whatever show up, they're still going to get attacked, and this is what you're going to be getting, right? I mean, come on, what else can I actually tell you? What you're going to end up having is an EMT getting killed if the cops just don't show up here.
Mayor Mamdani said he visited Jabez, who has lived with schizophrenia for many years. The mayor also questioning the protocols that led up to the shooting, and this will likely speed up the mayor's launch of his Department of Community Safety, which would send social workers to the scene of a mental health crisis rather than police officers.
Jabez has lived with schizophrenia for many years, and this situation underscores just how urgently we need a different and more effective mental health response system that will be safer for New Yorkers who struggle with mental health concerns, for their families, and for police officers. Jabez needs mental health treatment, not criminal prosecution.
Now, the mayor says that there are internal ongoing conversations for a different type of approach. Mental health advocates for years now have called for a different type of approach for those who are in mental distress. We are live at police headquarters.
A different approach. To see, again, this is like these people are fools. They just do not understand on how things are going to go on here. Of course, we have here where New Yorkers are shocked and appalled for after Ugandan Mayor Zoran Mamdani visits and consoles the man who tried to kill a cop with a knife, and this is what we have here.
And as you said, I spoke with the Chakraborty family, and I visited Jabez in the hospital. And there is no family should have to endure this kind of pain.
Baba, no!
Hey, put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Move! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down!
And as you said, I spoke with the Chuck.
Yeah. So again, I don't know what you're supposed to do there if you're an EMT. If you're an EMT, you don't have anything to defend yourself. Though the mom was already trying to just stop the kid, and she was absolutely failing to do so. So what do you do in this situation? So now we're going to jump into Mamdani saying you need social workers, and we're not going to prosecute the uh, we're not going to prosecute the guy with the knife, and it's just completely wild behavior.
But Mamdani couldn't explain today how this Department of Community Safety would have responded any differently to the Chakraborty incident. This department, Mamdani has proposed, would have social workers respond to mental health calls, but the mayor today still couldn't outline any details of how this agency would even work. The mayor did concede that if a situation turns violent, he would still want NYPD officers at the scene, but when asked how first responders are to predict if a situation will turn violent, Mamdani was short on details.
This is exactly the focus of the conversations that we're having internally in developing out this Department of Community Safety. Additionally, I want to make clear that a person experiencing a mental health episode does not always have to be served first or exclusively by a police officer. It is important for us to have all of the options available.
Yeah. So again, how do you solve this actual issue here? Like, how is this? He doesn't even have solutions onto when people become violent, or he doesn't even know how to handle it when it comes down to prepare for the violence. It's like, you can't. When you enter these type of scenarios, they are random at best, and you don't know what they're going to do at all. It's the same thing with a simple traffic stop that cops have to do. You don't know what the person at a traffic stop is going to actually do. So, like, they could get out, shoot you, or etc. This has been shown multiple times on camera with cops being shot at traffic stops. And it's going to be the same thing here, especially with somebody having an episode. It's actually worse in this instance. So, like, if you had a social worker or an EMT or anybody else that shows up there, they're going to die. They're just going to die. What else is preventing that social worker from not getting stabbed? Or, in this instance, getting shot if he has a gun. What prevents them from getting shot? And that's something that you have to ask Mamdani, because they're like, well, okay, so tell me how exactly, if a social worker is coming in here, or an EMT, or any whatever, and he has a knife, how do you prevent that from happening? What happens to the social worker? How does the social worker protect themselves from this? So, there is no way that the policies that Zoran Mamdani is going to enforce is going to work. It's going to have a travesty effect. It's just going to get people killed. And what are we going to do here? And again, we have Scott Jennings says, after a police officer was stabbed while on duty in New York City, Mayor Zoran Mamdani visited the hospital, not to check on the officer, but to comfort the attacker.
Democrats more committed to demonizing law enforcement than in defending you, law-abiding citizens. And now another clear example from New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani, who recently made a hospital visit, not to see a police officer, but to see the man who stabbed a police officer with a knife. Here's cut 14.
And as you said, I spoke with the Chakraborty family, and I visited Chavez in the hospital. And there is no family should have to endure this kind of pain.
Baba, no!
Hey, put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Move! Put the knife down! Put the knife down! Put the knife down!
That audio you heard there, that's the audio, the sound of someone stabbing a police officer with a knife. So a police officer in New York is attacked in the line of duty, and Zoran Mamdani shows up to comfort the attacker. That is your Democratic Party, America, in 2026. They have chosen a side. It is not the police.
Yeah, and again, I am not going to be the one to be outright to defend the police in every scenario. But in this case, it's that, like, if you start prosecuting the police and you start going and you start saying, like, oh, well, the police is a problem, well, guess what? The police are going to leave, and guess who suffers at the end of it all? The law-abiding citizens that rely on the police to protect themselves, because the laws don't allow you to protect yourself, at least in New York City, from these people from attacking you. So therefore, you're at the behest at the criminals, and you have these socialists, communists, going after the people that are trying to defend you. Now, do we need police reform in some regards? Yes. But that does not mean that we just abolish or criminalize every single police officer, especially in this scenario, to where he's the actual problem. And as I said before, socialists will kill you. Socialists will cause mayhem and destruction. And it's happening here in New York City. And it's only been a month. It's only been a month and it's already this chaotic. It's unbelievable on how quickly socialism destroys your life, destroys your country, destroys your state. So that's what we have here. All right, guys, that's it for a video. Like, subscribe, share. Love to hear your comments down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.